Also recently there was an Israeli attack on Gaza that ended up, I believe, murdering a whole family of Palestinians. And what they allege was a reaction to an attack by Gazans on Israel. And there's been a lot of reactions, mainly by presidential candidates, that Israel, what it's doing is essentially goes along with its right to defend itself and defend its sovereignty. How would you react to that kind of evaluation?
I would react to that the same way Nazis reacted to the fact that they were defending themselves in the Warsaw Ghetto against an uprising against the Germans, which was true, in fact. Yes, first of all, about this destruction of the family, there's a little more behind it. I don't know how much you looked into it. Israel claimed that they were aiming the attack at an Islamic Jihad leader who wasn't there and never lived there and may not even exist. The great Israeli intelligence just didn't have any intelligence about it. It was a tin hut somewhere where he wouldn't have lived even if he had existed. So, okay, we'll kill some more Arabs, you know. But if you look back at the record, I mean, I've reviewed it in detail in print if you want to look, but it's very straight. There's a standard procedure. Starts back in November 2015 when Israel withdrew its settlers from Gaza but kept the army there, so it's still occupied. But they made a deal in November 2015 with the Palestinian Authority at the time. The deal was they would withdraw the settlers and they would the Palestinians would agree no violence, and they would permit the airport to be rebuilt and opened. They'd allow trade and other arrangements. It's interesting to look at that because that's replicated over and over. What happened is a couple of weeks later there was an election, January 2016, a free election, validated by international observers. Actually, the first free election in the Arab world. There was only one problem with it: the wrong people won. Hamas won the election. Israel responded at once by violence and by imposing an embargo. U.S. did the same. Also, the U.S. initiated plans for a military coup to overthrow the government. This is reported by the U.S. consul in Gaza. We have detailed information about it. Okay, then a couple months later, Israel again escalated the attack. Finally, the coup. Hamas preempted the coup. They knew the coup was coming off. They stopped it. There was a civil war. They won. That's called here Hamas forcefully taking over the government, overthrowing a U.S.-sponsored coup. Then there's a regular pattern. There's an agreement reached, like the kind I just mentioned. Hamas lives up to it. Israel ignores it. At one point, Israel escalates its activities, its violence. Hamas reacts, and Israel comes in with a major attack saying we're defending ourselves. Then another agreement is reached. Same story. This is repeated over and over. So yes, it's true, Israel's defending itself. You have your jackboot on somebody's neck, and every once in a while they respond, and we got to defend ourselves.